diagnosed with lupus nephritis.
Yes. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yes.
I'm Jeanmarie, and
Yes.
I was diagnosed with lupus nephritis when
Mhm.
I was 16 years old. I had both of my kidneys failed by the time I was 22. My dad was my living donor, and so at 24, I was transplanted with a kidney, and that was 17 and a half years ago.
Wow. You that it's a long time. Um, but what was that experience to you when you're 16 when you had lupus, right? So what was that experience to you? What was your reaction?
Well, um, I was on the swim team in high school, and I suddenly just couldn't keep up with swim practices, and I just became very fatigued, very tired, and my back kept hurting. And so I told my mom, and she thought, "Wow, that's kind of." Well, first she thought I was making it up because I was 16, and she thought I didn't want to go to school. But we did go to the doctor, and they said that one of my kidneys had failed. So she knew it was a pretty big deal then at that time.
Yeah, so since you were 16, you've been like following a certain medication or certain diet.
Yes. So not initially, not when I found out I had lupus. It was just kind of a free for all still. Once the kidney started really getting once my GFR started getting really low, close to dialysis, I was very determined not to go on dialysis. And I kind of marketed myself, I suppose, to family mostly to see if anyone would be willing to be a living donor for me. Because the wait list here at that time was 7 years. So for a kidney. And I didn't think that it would be a very good life for me. So luckily my dad got tested and he was a perfect match for me. And he went through all the testing and everything. And um, by the time, so yes, I do take a lot of medications. I take I think about 18 medications every day to keep my immune system from rejecting the kidney. So, because our immune system, when they see something foreign, they want to get rid of it. And so, I take a lot of medications to suppress my immune system. I also do some infusions as well. There's a lot of new medications that are infusions, which are a little bit better right now because they're not going through your kidney and making it weaker, to say. But so I've been on those. My diet, I am all plant-based diet. I eat very clean. I don't, I mean, here in the United States, there's a problem with a lot of processed foods. Um, so I try not to eat anything that's on a box. Um, I make everything from scratch. It does take a little bit longer, but I usually make a lot of it and freeze it and that kind of thing. So I do meal prepping.
So I have two questions. As a 24-year-old,
Okay.
when you started dialysis, right? I mean transplant, you were 24.
Yes.
What was that experience to you when you had your father's kidneys? And also, can you tell me about your father? What was he like to you?
So the experience was scary. It's a major surgery and 24, and that was before the internet because now I'm 42. So uh, there wasn't a lot of information out there like there is now.
Yeah.
Now you can ask pretty much, you can hop on the internet and ask anyone, anywhere, anything. So back then I didn't have that luxury. And so it was really scary. I wanted to change my mind. But it's actually, I would say the first year was really a struggle. It was really hard. It was hard to get used to the medications. Um, But for the most part, I would say over the last 17 years, I'm extremely glad that I have the transplant. I've been able to live a pretty normal life for most of my life. And, very, very grateful to my father. Um, we've always been pretty close. I do have two younger sisters, so that it did cause a little problem in the family. Jeanmarie gets everything. But um, but it was if it wasn't for him to give me the kidney, it really just saved my life.
Yeah. And what was he like to you?
Um, well, we are still pretty close. We hang out all the time. We like watching baseball together. He still likes telling me what to do. Um, it's yeah, I mean, he's my dad, and now he's a bit worried because now the kidney is starting uh to
Decrease
get
the yeah.
weaker. Yeah, and so now I'm starting the process again for a new donor.
Um, so that was a really amazing story. That's but I have a third question. I I I look at your Instagram account and I saw there that you have a beautiful pictures there that you post. Can you tell me about your habits and your hobbies? Can you tell me about those?
Yes, so my most favorite thing, so the photography started, well, I was always into it, but it really started probably about my first rejection episode. I was in the hospital for about 6 months. They're trying to reverse the rejection. And so being in the hospital for that long, I would just stare outside the window bored and thinking about all of the things that at first I went through the process of I might not be able to get out of here. I didn't have a lot of hope, but I thought as I looked through my phone, I was like, I've been through some beautiful places. There's just so much more I need to experience. So I use that as a form of hope for myself. So I go back and it's more of like my own journal. And I started sharing the photos on Instagram because,
Yeah, they're beautiful.
what else are you gonna do, right?
Mhm.
And I thought, well, you know what? It might inspire somebody else. And it just helps me stay inspired. It helps me keep that hope alive, to keep going to different places to take photos. I love sunsets because I love the quietness of a sunset. To me, spending a lot of time in hospitals, it's very loud there. Just it's loud, machines are loud, people are loud. So to me, just the quietness of the ocean and the sunset, the colors are just really inspire me.
Yeah, because when you have this kind of disease, it's really a mental struggle. So you gotta build some hobbies and the things that you want like to do. Me, it was playing games, mobile games, but it's a bit unproductive.
Mhm.
But now I try to do something that are much more productive than just playing games. So and if you're open about it, can you tell me about your COVID experience? Because I also read from you document your journey, right? And so, can you tell me about
Mhm.
that COVID-19 experience? Because I had one too, and it's very hard, especially for us people to know our immune system is very low. Especially you, you take, the medicines that compromise that suppress your immune system. So it's really hard for us when it's the COVID-19. It's really hard. Can you tell me
Yes.
about your experience?
So I was very, very careful when COVID started. I didn't go anywhere. I was pretty isolated, and I was getting my vaccines and everything, and I'd wear a mask everywhere I go outside, and where I think I got it from was my nurse. I have a home care nurse that comes in to do my infusions, and which is it's fine, it's okay. But I knew something was wrong. It wasn't a generalized fatigue. It was really fatigue. I did not have a high fever. Um, it was a pretty mild fever. So I was waiting for a big spike in fever, but I didn't get that. I probably would have been just fine, except when I had called my nephrologist and I told him that I had tested positive for COVID. He wasn't there. He was an on-call doctor, and the on-call doctor prescribed a medication called Paxlovid. And Paxlovid actually interacts with one of my other medications for the transplant, which is tacrolimus. And he apparently did not know that. And I took the medication, which increased my tacrolimus levels to like 50. So I was literally having a drug overdose, basically. And I didn't know that. And it was a 4th of July weekend, which is a holiday here. And I was vomiting and I was on the floor for about 2 days. I called my transplant team that Monday and they said, "Oh, no, you're not supposed to take that medication." And I said, "I thought something was wrong." And so they had me go in and get some antibodies, some COVID antibodies. And